All right, guys, back out here with Brendan Kennedy at Alaqua Lakes here. We're going to be talking today about one move that could really make a huge difference in someone's ball strike. And this is something I went through and have been working on in my own swing, and many of the students that I've been working with, Brendan. I saw you doing this drill in a video online. I think it was with a lesson as well. And this drill that we're going to talk about in a moment, it just really brought back all those memories of like, man, okay, I was working on that. Okay, I remember that was working good for me when I was doing this. So I'd like to show them this drill here. And this really relates to how the pivot works, how your body's going to work, and how we get through the ball into a follow through, right? That's going to really help the ball strength. So maybe if we can go right into the drill, and then we'll kind of talk about how it works and some of the pieces here.
Yeah.
So I think when you were doing this here, it was kind of a normal setup, and then I think the left arm was out in front.
It was,
right?
And the right arm was extended straight on the other side.
So my like golf posture when I start this deal type of thing? Okay.
Now basically what we're trying to do is keep both arms straight, and we want to slap your left palm with your right palm. Now without even telling you anything, how would you do it? Well, you just did it. You pivoted through, you kept your upper axis stable. In other words, you didn't tilt your head back. And you would see holding this position right here is about what any great ball striker is going to look like at this point in the follow through, where shoulders might be rotated 90 degrees, hips 90 degrees away from the plane line or target line, arms straight, neck tilt, head rotation.
That would all be the good version. Now, I'm a professional, of course, Brendan, right?
Well, yeah.
But so quote unquote.
Yeah.
Now, let's say, and I think what I really loved about it is you were going through some of the common issues you would see that wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put these arms out, right, and I didn't do all those good things, and I tried to get my arm to my left,
can't reach it.
Can't reach it.
Right, and notice that your torso or your shoulder, look at how much of this left shoulder we can see from this front view.
Yeah.
At this point in the last swing, or the last pivot, this was out of view. So now this is pivot related. We've got the shoulders rotating basically 90 degrees back and through around that steady head or hub.
Yep.
If you were to tilt your spine, or let's say you move your head back on the downswing and try to reach it, you can't. The right shoulder, as the head and the hub move backwards, the right shoulder location moves backwards too. So now you can't reach it. So what's going to happen? If you're holding a club, both arms are going to flex.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep those arms straight on that follow-through side, which I think is a worthy goal, you're going to have to pivot in a certain way that allows it.
And what a nice way, even if I'm just practicing at home, and of course we got to hit balls with this and talk through some of the feels with it, but to start with, what a nice way for me to feel, probably 5 or 6 things that I need to do well with just one central thought.
I mean, honestly, if you had a club in your hands and you were hitting a ball and I was filming you right now and you looked anything like this at that point in your follow through, I will guarantee you it was a pretty good shot.
Now what I'm feeling as I'm doing that, I definitely feel like my weight's forward, right? I feel like my body's definitely turned toward all the way facing the target. I also feel, that I'm still tilted over, to your point. Like my trail shoulder's still lower, my neck is tilted over, so I'm not doing like this, bent over, and I'm not standing straight up, which I could see people doing.
I think that's a good point too, because as you said earlier, do this from a golf posture. You wouldn't do this standing vertically to the ground because we don't play golf on a horizontal plane. So
wouldn't hit the ball.
That's right.
Yeah. So I got to be bent over. So so we're starting here. I like that, and then I'm right to there. So my weight feels forward, my hips feel turned, my whole body feels turned. I feel that tilted over to the right, and I also have a sensation, as my weight's forward, my hips are tucked a little bit. These are just all, different sensations of where we're getting to. You don't have to think about all that.
Well, that's the beauty of it too. You're executing, we could break each of these pieces down into worthy elements that you could focus on. Well, you're executing all of them without thinking about those pieces.
And so like the biggest things that would hold someone back, and this was me previously, would be my head and shoulder would go down and back, so I'd run out of arm.
That's right. It's only so long. So
I would be here.
That's right.
And then also, obviously, if I don't do the turning, if I don't have the turning component, that's very difficult to get there. That's not going to happen.
Absolutely.
And so it's like the sensation with this trail shoulder that we would talk about for me to get there has to go down and forward enough for me to get there.
Yes.
And that was a key sensation when I was first starting that.
Sure.
Right?
Another way to look at this, by the way, if let's say you go into your normal stance and I'm standing here holding my index finger just opposite your left shoulder, now the command would be keeping the arm straight, touch it with your right shoulder on the follow-through side.
Oh yeah, okay.
Same look, different awareness.
Just so, literally just outside the shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that. So if you let's do that again, Brendan.
Yeah.
So if I was here and I did my old way.
Yeah, you're not reaching it. That's
like
that's going to affect where the club's hitting the ground, your contact, your direction, all those things.
And the net effect of me doing that, exactly, the net effect of me doing this, like if I take that same feel and I'm getting to that position, again, still tilted over, hips, shoulders, everything fully turned, with my arms extended, as I start to feel that same motion with the club in my hands, I mean, it feels very easy for me to replicate that same sensation. I could feel if I did my old normal, I'm not even close to hitting that left arm. And so let's say I'm hitting with that drill, right? Maybe I do a couple rehearsals. Ideally, I got a mirror or something, right? And I'm getting to that position, and then I'm gonna start to hit balls. And probably the best way, is the best way to do it, hold the finish, check the checkpoints?
Which I'm borrowing this from an esteemed colleague, but he calls this the 90-90-90 drill. Yeah. And go into that position again, if you would. So at this point, we've got the arm straight, 90 degrees turned in the shoulders, the hips, and even the knees have rotated 90 degrees from their starting position relative to the target line.
So I'm not back here.
Right.
Okay.
So, and this also folds into other segments where you've talked about the wall drill. You'll notice that's brought this around over here to your heel line.
Yeah.
So you're not shifting everything way off to the right.
Why don't let me do one, Brandon, just to confirm that and see if my checkpoints are good here. So I'm kind of getting that sensation first. Still tilted over. I like that, making sure my knees even get even. That helps me with the hip turn. That feels to me like a nice cue as well. And then I'm going to take those same feels with this and hit the follow-through part. Like we talk about in a lot of the other pieces, you could by getting the pieces through the ball and in the finish good, you can reverse engineer a lot of good stuff earlier on. You kind of start from the end back.
Absolutely, and Bob Tosky told me many years ago, he called me kid. He said, kid, come over here and put the club anywhere you want on the backswing and I'll hit the ball straight.
Yeah.
So the point of that is, if you are working on this side of your swing, you'll find a way to get there generally, no matter where you are on the backswing. Now we have preferences on what we'd like the backswing to look like.
Sure.
But you get this piece nailed down, it'll be a lot easier to find it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's do one, Brendan, see if I do that same feel correctly. I'm gonna imagine like I have that hand there. And so that to me felt like I did the same exact piece, like I'm still getting back to that hand. Yeah. And I can just check, right?
Right.
Yeah, I can just check
straight,
these.
90, 90, and 90 from the knees.
And I'm telling you, like, for me, not only, because I could always say, like, I've done this a lot in lessons and it really helps, but like also for me with my own game, like, gosh, my solidness of contact from day to day, when I got good at these exacts, and I bet you had a similar experience. Like a lot of us, when you get good at these pieces, the day-to-day ball striking consistency, you can have confidence in when you practice and play by just getting these couple nuances correct. So if you could be doing this, maybe you're doing 20, 30 reps a day, a couple days a week with some feedback over these winter months, start to nail that follow-through piece. And Brendan and I, if you watched us practice, we would be spending like the majority of time on these sort of things as our fundamentals, as our baseline, and then add the rest of the stuff in. So I think there's a lot to learn, from these pieces. I love that drill. I loved it when I first saw you do it. I liked it even more here when we're doing that today. I appreciate you having us out. Thanks for watching today's video. Now, with all things golf swing related, if you really want to guarantee that those changes you're going to make are going to make a huge improvement, not only in the practice area, but out on the course, the best way to get good feedback for yourself is through video feedback, but not any kind of video feedback, instant video feedback. You can see as you're swinging what you're doing. That's what I do in my own game, that I'm able to make fast changes. That's what I'd recommend for you. Live View Golf is the best thing that I've found to do that. Let's go ahead and check that out. I want to talk to you today about Live View Golf. Now, you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live View is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code.